A lot of people over the past 2 years have made the decision to take stock of their drinking habits. And if you've been cutting back on alcohol consumption, you may be part of a growing trend. Tiffany Kenny has a look tonight into the mindset of people who are sober curious.
Good dog. Walter's my new best friend.
Chris Kirtland and Walter spend a lot of time together.
He's been a blessing, a perfect little dog. Glad to have him. He's my boy.
Earlier this year, Chris decided to stop drinking alcohol and become part of the Sober Curious movement.
Why did you want to become sober curious?
I think that looking back to college, I've always been like a life of the party, weekend warrior type. And I think, you know, on the wrong side of 30, it started catching up with me. I think hangovers were kind of affecting my ability to do my job as best as I can or be as fully present with friends and family.
Sober Curious gained popularity with the arrival of two bestsellers that explore the choice to not drink in a culture obsessed with alcohol.
So much of what we do is ingrained with alcohol as a part of it. A reward system or a fun time or getting with your friends. It's everywhere in our society.
Dr. Evelyn Higgins is an addiction specialist.
So sober curiosity is someone asking themselves, who am I without alcohol? And that, if you really think about that sentence, that's a huge sentence. You are just willing and curious to say, I'm going to step into this new role and see what it feels like. And then the goal of it is to say, what did I feel like? Was my life actually better with less alcohol in it? It's not to say there is no alcohol whatsoever. It's to say, how do I operate without that as a part of my life?
The key component is for people to bring a more mindfulness to their drinking habits.
Who are you if you're not hiding behind that shield of the alcohol? And that takes courage to actually do that, to say, let me just unveil myself and this is who I really am. And you get in touch with who you are inside, for some people for the first time.
I think the pandemic put a lot in perspective for me. Is, am I as healthy as I can be? Am I as processing stress as well as I could be? And removing alcohol kind of helped me, I think, achieve that, or just manage my stress better, have fun in more healthy and active ways.
For Chris, that means hitting the gym instead of a bar.
It's fun to have that sense of community and camaraderie away from like a bar or a party scene. Another thing I did was took a stand-up class at Palm Beach Improv and got up and performed and tried to prove to myself I can be funny without the booze, and it went well, so I'm pumped about that. I feel good, I feel more present, alert, energetic, and just not as sluggish. I can't deny the benefits and all the things that have been going right in my life lately, so it's been a good thing. You want a treat, buddy?
That's from my co-anchor Tiffany. In response to the Sober Curious movement, there is a growing demand for zero-proof beverages, and there are some alcohol-free bars popping up around the country.